Hello, guys. We're back again on the one at top, and I'm with John Algren, who you guys have seen before, Chelsea fan, and I'm with Sonny Bart, diehard Liverpool fan, and we're going to discuss a topic that seems a bit more exciting than the title race: who's going to get Champions League football now that there's no Super League happening. So, the candidates are Everton, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, and West Ham. And I think from what I know, West Ham currently hold that position, but it's very tight. Everton just beat Arsenal 1-0. So from what I know, they're a point behind Liverpool and Spurs with a game in hand. So they'll fancy their chances. But yeah, I'll go with you, Sonny, first. Obviously, Liverpool having an up and down season. You know, they've been very hard done by with injuries, and we're always bored about talking about now about what's happening with Liverpool. It's very unfair, but with the games that you've got left, how do you see your chances in getting that fourth spot?
Yeah, well, tomorrow Newcastle at home. You would think Liverpool should win, but we've been poor at home, obviously, other than the Aston Villa win the other week at home. So hopefully that should turn a little bit in that sense. Leeds, I thought, is actually really, really good for the first half, and then the second half we just let Leeds back into games so much. So that was a bit disappointing, or more than a little bit disappointing, should I say? Because this season's been full of, if only we won that game, like John was saying, Chelsea at home. If we won that, we'd have been comfortable again, or at least it would have been in your hands. We're playing catch up, and Newcastle, I think we'll win, but we've got Man United away next weekend, and that is going to be because they would love to stop us getting top four. It would have been good because I was thinking, well, if they were back in the title race, we could stop them, potentially take them back out of the title race. But realistically, it's more likely that top four, Leicester winning midweek. At one point, Leicester were just in the mix, weren't they, with us, everyone? But I think they've kind of pulled through again, and maybe they got secured the third place a little bit more.
Yeah, they beat West Brom yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah, and they won quite comfortably, and they won their semi-final of the FA Cup. I know it's nothing to do with league, but at least they got 2 wins back to back. That probably should be enough now, confidence-wise, to get them over the line. I'm hoping, and John will probably speak a bit more of it. It's very hard when you've got the Champions League to focus purely on top four. That's all I'll say. So if Chelsea, you see the other day, 0-0 Brighton, they really would have thought they were going to win. So I think, and West Ham, at some point, you've got to think they might bottle it. And I just see now on the TV, I think Everton play them in 2 games' time, don't they, as well? So, and they got Chelsea tomorrow, they got Everton next week. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. I'm fairly confident, Jake, but if I'm being honest, we probably don't deserve to get top 4 this season.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree on the basis of play,
considering the season we had.
Yeah, on the basis of play, you could do, but like I said, you have been harshly done by. I don't think there's any team that have challenged for a league or a top 4 and had the concerns and the injuries that you've had at your club. But yeah, you are right. West Ham seem to be a bit worried about their top 4 aspirations. You've got Chelsea that, if they're concentrating on the Champions League. But I don't know if you both agree with me. I think that Chelsea and Liverpool probably would have won their games, but I generally feel they were distracted by all that Super League talk. Like, I was watching both those games and my head was in a bubble. Like, I'd be watching Chelsea Brighton, but I'm looking at the ceiling thinking, cool, imagine no Premier League. So imagine what the players were thinking. You're a Chelsea player or a Liverpool player, and last week you was in training with Tuchel and Klopp respectively, saying, right, we've got to win this game to get into the Champions League. We've got to put pressure on this person, blah, blah, blah. And you wake up in the morning and, as half the players are probably thinking, well, it don't matter, does it? If we're in the Super League, don't matter.
Yeah, and also Liverpool fans are probably the players not been booed going into a game, and by the potentially own fans who are at Leeds, you know what I mean, with all the banners. And obviously the Chelsea players going into the Chelsea game, and look how many fans are out. And Arsenal had a Kroenke out today. Surely, and look, they've lost as well. So Chelsea drew 0-0, Arsenal lost, and Liverpool drew 1-1. You've got to think indirectly, you must be having an effect on these players, because it takes the focus away from the game, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So Yeah, Jake, good point, really, to be fair with that. And it was like a bubble when I was watching it. I was really thinking, in my, before the game, all my mates go, "Oh, it doesn't really matter." I was like, "Of course it matters." I go, when this blows over, we're going to be like gutted that we don't win. And then that's exactly what happened. Exactly, literally the day after, it was like, yeah, no Super League, back to top four. It was like, oh shit, we just missed out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, it's a tough one. Everyone's had their distractions. I don't think, we had a protest outside our game on Thursday, but I think we won the game because we lost our manager as well. So it's like no Mourinho. You know what I mean? The protest didn't matter, man. You got Ryan Mason like in charge now, haven't you? So it's like everybody was just probably more bouncing the fact that you've got a new manager rather than what's going on in the Super League. But if I go over to John now, Chelsea have had considering they got rid of Frank Lampard, I think they've had a good 7 and 8 out of 10 season. For me, they're probably still favourites for top 4. I think if they keep playing the same way they do, I think they actually make the Champions League final. So, if you're a Chelsea fan of any ilk and you get to the final of the Champions League and you finish top 4, any Chelsea, not even any Chelsea fan, any fan in general, if you're qualifying for the Champions League next season and you get to the final, it's a success. So, how do you see your chances on top 4 with that in mind?
Well, we've not made it easy. We're not making it easy at all. Especially the game when we played against Brighton. I've never gone into a game watching Chelsea, and you just think, I've supported Chelsea for 25 years, and I've never gone into a game and just not cared because of what was going on with this Super League. It was just like, it just felt like just a random game I was just watching. And whether the players even had that kind of mentality as well, because it was an awful game. And to be fair, Brighton should have won. They had two. Welbeck had 2 good chances at the end, but that kind of sums up their season. Not putting the chances away, but yeah, the only one that I think the team that has a big say in it really is West Ham, because like Sonny said, we've got them tomorrow. They're 2 games time. They've got Everton, and they just don't seem to go away.
Yeah, I know.
They're just like they're picking up wins here and there, but it's their problem is that when they're going 3-0 up, their main problem is they're conceding goals, and they're conceding goals really stupidly. For any fan, you'd be tearing your hair out. For West Ham, it's kind of like, were they expecting to kind of be there at the start of the season? I'd probably say no one probably expected it. Probably, a mid-table finish, they'd be happy with that. The fact that they're there, but they're still doing this, it's got to be frustrating for them. Obviously, the win with Leicester last night, I think that's kind of cemented them onto, I think they'll finish top 3. I think they deserved it as well.
Definitely.
I think they've been brilliant throughout the season. And Leicester don't have much depth. We look at Chelsea, you look at Liverpool. They've got a great squad. All right. Liverpool's had their problems with defence, but you always look at the Liverpool bench and go, okay, well, we can bring catering, or we can bring Shaqiri on. He could pull something out of the bag. But with Leicester, you don't really see that. You kind of see, well, you've got, if they take out Vardy and Iheanacho, they ain't got anyone else up front. No one, to the caliber of those 2 players. But it's
the result. That's the thing. They still get the result. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're doing very well at grinding. Like I remember mid-season, I watched Leicester, and I ain't gonna lie, because they were my favourite team to watch. I used to, if Leicester were playing somebody, especially if it was a rival, I used to love them. And they were a dark horse for me for winning the title at one point. But then obviously, Man City went on their run. But yeah, like you both said, Leicester probably cemented top 3. Sorry. United obviously you know, I think the win that they had against Burnley and Spurs respectively cemented them as second. It's a tough one, top four. Like you said, West Ham ain't going away. And if I look at West Ham's next results, you know, if they have a big game against you tomorrow, knowing that you've got Real Madrid and you're going to have to rotate the squad, their next games are Burnley away, Everton at home, who's another top four rival, Brighton away, who will probably be safe by then, West Brom, who are already down, and Southampton, who will probably be safe as well. So they'll be looking at that thinking they could get 5 wins in a row there. And if they beat you know, for me, if West Ham win tomorrow, that gives them the confidence to feel that it's not wrapped up, but they can do it. If they lose it, I can see them dropping needless
3
points.
games of the trot, sort of thing.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think West Ham have had a great season, but I don't look at them and say in the next 6 games they're going to pick up 14 points. Whereas I look at Liverpool, you know, they have had a mad season, but they have got you know, we always go on about the front three not scoring, but if they do turn up for 6 games, they will get wins. And then with Chelsea, you know, if you've whether you've lost to Real Madrid or beaten them, that will buoy you. So, you know, I think that's that. You know, everybody's talking about Spurs maybe having a run, which, you know, mathematically it's not written out, but it's like, I think for Spurs to get top 4, it solely relies on the game on Sunday. If we go and beat Man City and lift the cup, it's pretty much an easy talk for Ryan Mason. He literally sits down and says to the boys, look, you just won the cup. You got 6 games, win them all when you get Champions League football. But I know Spurs' ones are. I remember saying to myself when I thought we were going to win the league, but I remember looking at the last 6 games and thinking to myself, well, if we're in a position where we can win the league or get top 4, we're screwed. So I'm just gonna have a look now. We've got Sheffield United at home, so that should be a win. Leeds away, Wolves at home, Villa at home, and Leicester away last game of the season. So it's a difficult one because I look at Sheffield United, we should win that, regardless of the cup final. Leeds, you don't know. You could beat Leeds 4-0, but then they could beat you 4-3. Wolves, again, without their striker, I think we can get a win there. Villa, again, I think we'd win if Grealish isn't back. I think for Spurs, if we've gone on a nice run, we've got a little bit of history with Leicester. It's not like vile or anything, but because they beat us to the league, that they like getting the one over us. Like, you know, do you remember when they won the league and Chelsea? But you I think you drew with us to win them the league, and then I think the following year or two they did the same for you, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
There's a bit of banter there. So it's like if we get to the last game of the season, they're guaranteed 3rd, and we're like 4th. And if we beat Leicester or draw with them, we stay 4th. We'll lose that.
Yeah, I think with Spurs, I think it's like because obviously, you know, with Mason coming in, you know, it's kind of like a little bit of you don't know what to expect because
it's a
you
jump
know
up.
we've obviously, yeah, I mean, especially like you know with Mourinho was, you know, Mourinho's famous for the way he plays. With Ryan Mason, whether he's going to turn it completely on its head, you know, no one knows. I mean, Tottenham could go into, you know, the last 5 games and win them all. You know, it's that kind of season that you kind of wouldn't knock it past. But
Spurs, I think
it's
with Ryan Mason, he's a manager, and everything he's learned in his game from Pochettino. So I think what it is that there's a lot of players at Spurs that are still under the Pochettino mentality, and that's how they want to play. So it's just mad, like how he's our manager and Harry Kane is his mate. So he'd just be like, you know, he could probably ring Harry Kane and like, poor Harry Kane would be like, oh, don't play Sissoko tomorrow, bruv. And it could probably happen. That's, you know what I mean? They're good friends. It's like, it's crazy. But
yeah,
I think Tottenham, even if we do win a lot of games, we're relying on a lot of teams to drop points. So I think Liverpool on the same points as us, and I'm not sure if they've got a game in hand on us, but it's a lot of ifs and buts. And, you know, as a Spurs fan, whenever there's ifs and buts, that's when I don't feel confident. So But then if I look at someone we ain't really spoke about, it's Everton. You know, Everton win their game and they go above
Yeah,
they go above Liverpool and Spurs and go a point behind Chelsea and West Ham. So it's like they've just got the win against Arsenal away, which I thought that would be a draw, to be fair. If I was
yeah. I mean,
betting man,
it wasn't a great game either. It was a terrible game, but you know, you're a decent team if you can go to Arsenal and nick a point, nick 3 points even. You know, and I don't think they even touched the second half at all until they went down the wing and yeah, and the cross shot off Leno.
yeah, it's just one of those. But
But,
it's weird. It's
but
weird.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
just Everton have always they've just gone under the radar completely. You know, they've never actually gone away. They've just kind of
Lingered.
always been there. Yeah.
Yeah, just coming up on the screen now, Everton, though, their last two away, the last two games of the season, Man City away and Aston Villa away. That's not a nice ending.
Yeah, but Villa will probably be on holiday camp, and so will City.
Yeah,
City
but
maybe not so. Maybe more not City because they're, you know, if they're at the Champions League final, they'll want to maintain their form going into it if they do get there. So Everton probably want to hope that PSG have knocked them out. So then, you know, they'll be on the beach. But
And they've always gone to Man City as well, and they've always, you know, they've always put in a good performance as well.
yeah.
You know,
And
go on, Sonny.
to be fair, with City, yes, I was going to say with City, to be fair, in one sense, you probably want to, it's hard. These teams, especially like John will say, Chelsea, if they win, that's a good result because they want to get through. If they draw, they're on edge. And if they lose, so you know what? If you're playing any of those teams who've got Champions League games on Saturday, you've got good chances because they cannot have, they're not going to think about just that game. They are thinking about the Champions League game.
Yeah,
And
not
so
getting injured.
if you're playing, yeah. So like tomorrow is a really, really hard game for Chelsea because you want to beat West Ham, you want to get top four, but Real Madrid or midweek is, and then remember they come quick and fast. So, and he's got a tinker as well, doesn't he? Like he's got to think about, well, I want to keep this player fresh for that. Do you go there? Because do you play Ziyech or do you play Mount or which way? You've got a lot of things to think about now.
That's it, to be fair. Definitely. I think there's one thing that he has to go, and he has to play Kovacic and Mount together. Has to play him.
What, tomorrow
without the one
in the Champions League?
I'd say both. I'd say up to the end of the season, you know, if they're both fit, have to play them both now. I think we've missed Kanté. We've definitely missed Kanté as well. I mean, I don't know what's happened the last 18 months with him. He just can't seem to have a good run of games, and you know, and it has affected Jorginho. You know, he spreads the play. He spreads the play. He's a good player. You know, he leads the team. But for me, the two players that really make a difference in our midfield is Kovacic and Mason Mount. Without them two, or without one of them, there's a massive gap, and that's where we've been exploited. You know, we played Brighton and we were terrible. You know, there was just no going forward. It was just sideway passing. But then when we played Man City, they were both playing together, and they were brilliant. You know, Mate was able to go and express himself down the wing and pop balls over the top. And, you know, it was kind of like, okay, well, if he don't do it, then Kovacic will. So, you know, it's, I think now they have to play both. Who he plays up front, I don't know. Up front's been a bit Jekyll and Hyde this season.
Very much so.
But it's been frustrating because, you know, I think we could have played all night and not scored against Brighton. We were shocking up front. But I just don't get why he isn't playing Tammy as well. Don't understand it.
No, it's manager preference, isn't it? You know, we've all had it at our clubs. A new manager comes in, and there's a player that everybody loves, and then you just find the manager don't want to play him for whatever reason. That you got to respect the manager in that case. It's like, you know, everybody forgets that being a manager, these managers must get a lot of money, but their manager, if you left your job now and went and managed another group of people, if there's 2 or 3 people that you don't like the fancy of, you might think, if I could, I'll sack them. So it's the same thing with managers in football. But if I go over to you, Sonny, quickly before we do our predictions, you've got the defense. This is just going to be the defense you've got with Nat Phillips and Kabak. So you just got to grin and bear that. But if Liverpool are going to get top 4, what do you think needs to change dramatically, or what do you think needs to be kept the same for you to push forward and nick that 4th spot?
Yeah, so to be fair, Nat Phillips is actually injured. He didn't play against the Leeds game, and he did light training yesterday. I'm not sure if he actually did full training today. If you play him and Kabak at the back, even though, like you said, they're not amazing, but they're 2 centre backs. Then Fabinho goes in midfield. If you see Fabinho was in defence against Leeds, and it's that level of that sluggish play again. Do you know what I mean? We need him to play in midfield, and then we just need one of the front 3 to be on it for the rest of the season. And it's quite hard. Jota's probably, at the moment, our best forward player. Salah is good, but I don't know if he's rested him. It's just a bit strange, but he didn't start against Leeds. And Salah's the one where he's the one who's the most direct one. Do you know what I mean? And I'd say he's the one you've got to play all the time. Mane's been very poor this season. However, he did score against Leeds, so that's good. Hopefully he's up. I love Bobby Firmino. He's a great player. I'd leave him out. That's my personal opinion. I think try the other 3. Try that, just because all 3 of them, Jota, Mane and Salah, would be more of a direct. Bobby brings a lot more to the game, but I think we need to kind of just go back to basics at the moment and be a bit more direct for a little while. That's my
I agree with you. That's what I'd say. If I was going to say Liverpool do it, I think there's no point trying to reassure the defense. Just play Fabinho in his position, and just if you got we all know that goals win games. So instead of having Firmino that will drop in, do the defensive bit, and work hard, you might as well just have 3 people up there that's going to score goals. Because then if you're playing rubbish, but you've got them 3 up front, arguably out of everybody in the top 4, that front 3 has probably got the most goals as a 3. Everybody would say Spurs have got Harry Kane and all this stuff, but we've pretty much got a 2 that we can rely on for goals, whereas you've got 3 there. Like Jota's like a breath of fresh air, mate. He looks like he's going to score in every game. So yeah, so if we move on to the predictions, if let's just do a gentleman's bet, no money involved. So and we'll reconvene at the end of the season. If I said to you boys, take your club's hats off, because I know I will. And we got to predict the 3rd and 4th. So we'll drag Leicester into our little fight. We'll say that Man United and Man City are going to finish top 2. Who do you think is going to finish 3rd and 4th, and why? And I'll start with John.
I think Leicester 3rd, definitely. I think they're definitely going to be 3rd. I don't know. I really don't know. It's it could be absolutely anyone out of 5. I do think we'll do it, but only just. I think it will go to the last game of the season. Only because I think when we really need to step up the game, we have definitely. Yeah. When we've played Man City, we played Tottenham away. It was at the start of the season. It was all about Frank Lampard couldn't beat these big 6 teams, and Tuchel's done it twice, and and he knows not to lose, how to not lose a game. All parts. We lost to West Brom. That was just
that's just a blip.
A freak result. It was just a freak result. But we went to Man United away, we played them at home, and didn't lose. All right, it was a draw. It was a 0-0, but we didn't lose. Went Tottenham away, beat them 1-0. Sorry, Jake. And and we were brilliant against Man City. But on the flip side of that, we've played Wolves where we should have done more going forward. We should have same with Brighton, Southampton. So I think we'll do it. But yeah, I think last day of the season, I think it'll go to that. But whether it be a point or so or goal difference, we don't know. So
no worries. What about you, Sonny?
I know you said take your hat off. I can't. I get murdered if I try to take the hat off.
I didn't say that, honestly. Wink.
Can't hear you, Sonny.
He's gone now. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, can hear you now, yeah.
Oh, you can hear me now, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, lads. I think my earphones died. What I was going to say, I don't think we deserve it, if I'm being totally honest. However, I think all we got to do is put a little bit of run, beat Newcastle, which I think we should do tomorrow. Man, if we won at Old Trafford, you know what I mean? But on the flip side of that, we could draw tomorrow and lose next week. And then I think it's just more blind faith, Jake. We've been so good for 3-4 years. You said it, look, we've been shit all season. Like, I know we've had a lot of injuries, but since the turn of the year, we've been pretty awful, if I'm being honest with you. And I think we've played good in like 2 games, and I'll be like, oh, we're back. And then the next game, you're back to that again. So I think we might do it, but I think it's too hard to call, to be fair. I personally don't think teams like yourself and Everton, I think there's probably a bit too much of reliance on other teams a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more Chelsea, West Ham, and Liverpool. And West Ham tomorrow is the biggest game for them, because they win tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what
I think we've all got to think West Ham are serious. They wobble tomorrow, then they could fall down.
Yeah, okay. So yeah. So if I'm going to say mine, don't ask me why. I've just got this funny feeling Leicester will get dragged back into it somehow. I know they won against West Brom, but they haven't been too convinced. I don't know. Vardy's not in the goals. Inacho's been fantastic, but I've just got a feeling that they might get dragged in. But if they don't, and we say that they do finish in the top 3, it's hard, man. I think it's mad, because I could say that I don't think West Ham are going to do it, but then if they beat Chelsea tomorrow, then they're pretty much favourites. But I do believe that West Ham, I don't, we're rivals with them, but I don't actually mind West Ham too tough. I don't like playing against them, because whenever we do, we always seem to flop somehow. But
same with us as well.
Yeah, they love the London derbies, don't they? But if I'm going to be honest and go with a team to finish there, I'm going to go with Everton. You know why? Because I think West Ham, I think there'll be somewhere where West Ham will bottle it. Chelsea will concentrate on the Champions League and get into the final. Liverpool's defence will probably let them down. And Spurs are relying on 3 or 4 teams to flop whilst winning all our games. So I think it'd be Everton. Everton can just sit there. Nobody's really talking about them. They go and win their game in hand. They take Liverpool and Tottenham out of there straight away. And then they've got West Ham coming up soon. I don't think they've got to play any more of the top 6 apart from Everton. So apart from Man City, sorry. So the way the season's gone mad, you would look at that table right now and everyone would be like, yeah, it's Leicester and Chelsea. But I've just got a feeling that if I was going to throw a hat on it, I'd say Chelsea and Everton. And somehow Leicester are just going to find themselves in 5th.
To be fair, I said a little while ago, we was all in the mix. And I said Everton were in what's the name? Leicester were in the top 4 mix, because I thought 3rd and 4th was up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love them to be dragged in. And do you know what? Last season, Man United picked them out of that top 4 last. If it's in the mix where they're not set up with 2 to go, you've got to think they're going to be a bit more pressure on Leicester as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting, but Leicester. If you're a Leicester fan, if you're a Leicester fan and you said to them, you can finish third and lose the cup final to Chelsea, or you can finish 7th and win the FA Cup. What fan in their right mind would take third? You know what I mean? Like, I know they won the Premier League recently, but you'd take that. Do you know what I mean? If someone said to me, "Look, Tottenham going to finish 8th, Jake, but you win on Sunday," you know, I'm never going to say I want to finish top 4 over winning a cup, especially as a Spurs fan. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm going to go with Chelsea and Everton. So yeah, boys, it's nice to have a good chat. You know, everybody watching, share the love, like, share, subscribe, and even comment on some of the things that not only I've said, you know, John, Sonny, and everyone previous and in the future. So should be a good weekend. I'm hoping that it's weird. I'm saying I'm hoping we are champions, you know what I mean? I don't think, you know what I mean? It just seems weird saying it, man. It's just, I hope we have a good game and I haven't got a cry under my quilt, but it should be a good weekend of football, you know, good. There's loads of Champions League coming up. So we'll keep in touch, boys, and we'll have a lot more conversations in the next few weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds good, Jake. Sounds good.
Love, and speak to you soon.
Yeah, good luck on Sunday, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.